Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2022 comedy drama, The Greatest Beer Run Ever, a film that is co-written and directed by Peter Farrelly, and it stars Zac Efron, Russell Crowe, and Bill Murray. Now, the film is based on a true story, and it focuses on Zac Efron's character, Chicky Donahue, who is living in New York. The film is set in the mid-60s and the Vietnam War is underway. There's many people in that neighbourhood who has gone off to fight, and the neighbourhood is split. There are some who are protesting in the neighbourhood that the war is bad, so on and so forth. And there are others in the neighbourhood who believe that the soldiers out there are doing a good job and they deserve the support of the community. And over an evening of plenty of beers, the Zac Efron character Chicky is with his pals in the bar, and he decides he's going to head over to Vietnam with a load of beers and hand them out to people in his neighbourhood who are over fighting in Vietnam. What sounds like a crackpot idea turns into a reality, and he hitches a ride over to Vietnam with a pile of beers and does exactly what he says he's going to do. And this film follows his adventures. Right. What are my thoughts on The Greatest Beer Run Ever? Well, I saw the trailer of this, or a part of the trailer for this, a few weeks ago. I thought it was a completely mad concept. And true life stories like this really do fascinate me, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you'll watch a film and you're just kind of scratching your head just thinking, did they really do that? And it's absolutely true, this film. Now, I don't know how much of it they have, spruced up for the movie screen, but to my knowledge anyway, certainly that this event actually happened, and there is footage on YouTube of this guy, Chucky Donahue, with his pals from Vietnam chatting about it and stuff. So it actually happened, although I'm sure some events in the film were fluffed up for the screen sort of thing. So I'm always interested in that kind of thing, that kind of concept, a true life story that shouldn't really make any sense. And I have to say, guys, I was super impressed with this film. It had me really, really engaged throughout. It really held my attention. It was well written and superbly acted. Now, Peter Farrelly, if that name sounds familiar, that's the guy that brought us films like Dumb and Dumber and There's Something About Mary. This is clearly a bit different from him. It's a far more mature and subtle comedy from Peter Farrelly. And while this is described as a comedy, it's not the kind of comedy you expect from Peter Farrelly. It's not full of fart jokes and stuff like that. The comedy is more situational, of the situations it gets himself in, and just the concept itself. It's a bit mad, and there are a few chuckle moments. I think the one that got me kind of laughing the most is he ends up dropping into a hot LZ sort of thing to surprise one of his friends. And the mad thing is, most people think in Vietnam that he's with the CIA because of the way he's dressed, and he acts ignorant to it and plays along with it to a large degree, which ends up getting him in trouble later in the film. But so that's how he's getting himself into a lot of these hot LZ sort of thing. So he gets in this hot LZ, and the sergeant's like, "You really want to see this guy?" And he's like, "Yeah, call him in," not realizing what that means. So they call him in basically from the front lines, and he's got to run across a live battlefield, dodging bullets to get back to see the sergeant. And Chicky thinks this is going to be a laugh a minute. He's going to surprise him with a pile of beers. As you can imagine, that doesn't go down well when he's just literally risked his life charging across the battlefield, thinking something's really wrong here. So there's moments like that in the film that will really get you chuckling. But there's also moments in this film that will really get you thinking. I'm not saying it does a great job with both. I think the subtle comedy and the situational stuff, it handles particularly well, and it's quite easy watching for the most part. It doesn't lean too heavily into the seriousness of war. And when it does try and do that, it feels a little bit clumsy. I'm not going to lie. When it does try and get serious here and there, because it does. I mean, you know, it does try and show the horrors of war here and there. But like I said, it does kind of feel out of place and a little bit clumsy here and there. I have to say as well, Zac Efron, I think, is maturing into a really, really fine actor. He's the more I see him these last couple of years, the more I'm impressed with his performances. And while I haven't seen everything, and probably that film he did where he was Ted Bundy may stand at the top of that list, I think this is a close second. I think he does a remarkable job here. He's got real charisma on screen. He's got real charm, Zac Efron. And he's got a level of maturity now that's coming along with his performances. And I have to say, I was really impressed with him. And he really carries this film very, very well. Russell Crowe is in the film, but he plays like a war correspondent, like a journalist. And he's in the film periodically, but not a great deal. As is Bill Murray. Bill Murray basically plays like the bartender back in New York. So you see him kind of at the beginning of the film. And initially, I didn't recognise him as Bill Murray because he's got like this hairpiece on and stuff like that. So he's at the beginning of the film and right at the end of the film, Bill Murray's not in it a huge amount. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, if you like these true life type stories, this is a really charming film that is very well made. It's a shame that it's probably going to go under most people's radars because I've not seen anyone really talk about this film. But I guarantee you it'll entertain you. You will enjoy it. There's some good performances. As I said, it's well made, well written. And it's actually really surprised me. I didn't expect to enjoy this one really as much as I did. And it was a nice surprise. So if you get the opportunity to watch this one, guys, please do. I don't think you'll be too disappointed. It's a very, very nice film indeed. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. That's how much I enjoyed it. So check it out if you get the chance, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I will, of course, be back with loads more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.